What's up? I'm Jack with LFC Transfer Room. Here in today's video, we've got a player review of Florian Wirtz of Bayer Leverkusen. Really good young player, 18 years old, really lighting the world up and getting a lot of attention as he could be one of the best players in the next few years. Joining us today is Shivam, who talked to Chris Stonadge to give some insight into what to expect from the player. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's get into things. Florian Wirtz currently plying his trade for Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. At time of recording, which is October 13th, 2021, has 4 goals, 5 assists, and 6 appearances 2021-2022 season. Joining us now with an interview with Chris Stonadge is Shivam, a Bundesliga football expert, to give us a bit more on what Florian Wirtz is all about.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the LFC Transfer Room YouTube channel. And once again, I'm joined by a friend of the channel, Shivam. How are you, mate?
Good, thank you, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we do love Shivam. He provides such great Bundesliga insight. And that's exactly what we're doing today. We're chatting about Florian Wirtz. Now, if you don't know him, you're living under a rock. He is probably the next great wonder kid coming through football at the moment. He had a wonderful start to the Bundesliga this season. I think 4 goals in 6 games, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll start off, mate. Can you just give a little brief explanation of what Wirtz is like as a player?
Yeah, so Florian Wirtz is, I think you could describe Florian Wirtz as the sort of traditional number 10, if you like. He's only 18 years old and he's shown a lot of versatility. And I think there's a lot of ways that he can mold his style of play. And I go as far as saying that you can't define him to a certain position yet due to the different areas on the pitch that he can play. But in essence, he is a creative player, likes to play in a front 4, behind the striker. He likes to get the ball in midfield and makes things happen. That is the essence of the way he plays.
Definitely. And we have seen several links linking him to big clubs recently, including Liverpool. Do you think that he's warranted these links? And do you see him going anywhere anytime soon?
Absolutely. Wirtz has just had an absolutely flying start to this Bundesliga season. 4 goals and 5 assists in 6 appearances, and 2 of those were off the bench. So he's played absolutely brilliantly in Gerardo Sione's 4-2-3-1 setup. He is linked up excellently with Moussa Diaby on his left and Patrick Schick in front of him. So in the Europa League as well, 2 starts, 1 against Ferencvárosi, 1 against Celtic, and of course a goal in both. Everything he is touching just seems to be turning to goals right now. He's averaging 3.7 chances created per every 90 minutes in the Bundesliga. He attempts 36 passes and he completes 30 of them. So some excellent numbers so far. Where could he go in the next few years? Well, as you said, everyone is after him. Christian Falk of Bild, one of our most reliable names in Bundesliga journalism, he said Chelsea, Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester United, and of course, FC Bayern München are interested in Florian Wirtz. He would warrant a move to all of those teams. Again, only 18 years old. He's got so much more to give. The question is, as you asked, is he going anywhere anytime soon? I don't think so. It's important to remember that he's contracted through 2026 with no release clause in his contract. And that's the important part about this. Bayer Leverkusen will know, just like with Kai Havertz, who they sold last year, that they could really get as much money out of Florian Wirtz as they desired. Wirtz's uncle, Hans-Joachim, who is also his agent, said that he wants to play a role at Leverkusen. He said that he's comfortable there. So at the moment, he is looking absolutely fine where he is in Leverkusen. If he's going to be going anywhere anytime soon, I think it would be around 2023, which is halfway through his new contract. But at the moment, unlike the Erling Haaland situation at Dortmund, where there's a clause that's coming into play next year, Leverkusen's officials won't be sweating about a release clause being activated at this time.
No, not at all. It's really, really interesting that actually, because as you mentioned, Kai Havertz, £90 million, I think they got for him. Which do you think he could command as such a fee, or maybe even higher?
Absolutely. I read that, in fact, what the under-16 coach of Germany even said that that Florian Wirtz might even become an even more complete package than that of Kai Havertz. I suppose there's some similarities in the way they play. They can both operate as a creator. I suppose, Wirtz is only 5'10", while Havertz has got that magical 6 foot number, but it doesn't have much difference in the way they play. And of course, they're both German, they're both starlets, they're both in Leverkusen, and they both end in Wirtz. And you can see why the comparisons are being made. They're both excellent players. And again, with the numbers he's putting up at this age, especially the fact he's just called up to Hans-Dieter Flick's latest Germany setup, again, coming straight into the team, it would not surprise me that if in the coming years he commands a similar figure to that of Kai Havertz.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of how he would fit in at Liverpool, do you think that Liverpool would have to change their system to accommodate Florian Wirtz?
That's an excellent question, because right now he is playing as a traditional 10 in that 4-2-3-1, as we mentioned. He's excellent at sort of linking up with the players around him. So on that left-hand side at Leverkusen, he creates passing triangles with Kerem Demirbay and Moussa Diaby. He's excellent at doing that. He could do a similar thing at Liverpool, for example, with Mane, with Salah. And again, we have to consider the state of the team in 2023, formation and squad-wise. Could he play the Firmino role, if you like, the sort of false nine dropping deep, as Kai Havertz was thought that he could be able to play at Chelsea? It's very possible because, he's experienced playing as a centre forward. He can also play off the wing as he did at the academy in FC Köln. But as I alluded to earlier, one of the strengths of Wirtz is the fact that he's played so many positions for his age. If he were to play in the Liverpool setup to sort of replace Roberto Firmino in a false nine, I think that's a position that he's got more than enough time and ability to adapt to.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that's all we need. Thank you so much, Shivam, for joining us for this quick interview about Florian Wirtz. Where can people find you and your work, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. You can follow me on Twitter. That's @_Shivam Pathak. Or if you want to follow all my work, you can go to my link tree. So that's linktr.ee/Shivam Pathak.
Many thanks to Shivam for speaking with Chris, and thanks for Chris for doing that interview. Some great insight there. I want to look at some stats now. I'm going to get on the, the glasses. I have to reach for them. The glasses are going back on. Jack the Nerd back. So, how does he compare statistically with some other players, especially Liverpool's 4 forward players? Now, as Shivam mentioned, he is a number 10. He's an attacking midfielder. So, really, these numbers can be interpreted one of two ways. So, let's look at just kind of baseline level. All these numbers per Football Reference, per 90 in the league, last 365 days. So, that's where the statistical analysis is coming from. Florian Wirtz here, Firmino, Jota, Salah, Mane, Liverpool's forward options there as well. So goals, middle of the pack, assists, top end, expected assists, top end, and both the positive and negative here for Florian Wirtz in my eyes is that he's scoring at about just under 0.2 above where he's expected to. Now that's an indication that he will come back down to earth. If he does not get a baseline improvement in his opportunities that he's allowed with Bayer Leverkusen, his goal production is as expected with every player, as expected goals is always proven. He's going to come back down to earth. He's young, so I think expecting him to keep up this goal performance is a bit foolish, in my eyes at least. You don't want to be putting too much expectations on the young player, especially so early on in his career. But still, even if it was at just at 0.22, he's got far fewer goals, obviously, per 90 if it was to fall to that number. So that indication is that plays a bit deeper down on the pitch. So that means that he's offered less opportunities. And I think that is actually supported by his creating statistics. So here, let's take a look at some of these. So just absolutely tremendous in almost every aspect beyond crosses. Where he's picking up the ball from, where he's playing it to. I mean, he takes set pieces. He's attempting a lot. He's completing them at a great rate as well. You look at very similar to Firmino in his passing numbers. Those two are kind of top of the marks in that. So really, I mean, you look at progression, his creation, and obviously he looked very good in the assists as well over here with 0.37. Probably should have included that here as well, but really, really good in terms of the chances he's creating for his teammates. He's top of the line. He is very, very good. At number 10, almost the last of a dying breed. As a dribbler, he also is quite remarkably impressive. He is comparable to Mane in a lot of senses, where Wirtz playing to the middle, can play out left, play out right as well, but like Mane, able to take players on, able to carry it forward. And I think this is probably one of the biggest indicators. I love these two stats right here. So passes received percentage, which basically indicates if a player passes the ball to him, does he retain possession? He's best in terms of percentage, fewest in terms of progressive ones. So to me, that means that if you have a player like a forward, typically a forward is higher up the field, they'll be receiving progressive passes more often. As an attacking midfielder, he's probably receiving the ball a bit deeper. So these numbers, I think it's a double-edged sword. It could be looked at as, he's tremendous in his receiving, but he's not receiving them in great spots, and he's still able to create, both off the dribble and with the pass. So he's really good in that sense. So you're saying, he must have some flaws. He must be bad in some areas. Well, I say no. I say he's the greatest player to ever touch a football. Look at some of his defensive numbers. Middle of the pack. And you know what? I think it's what you would want from an 18-year-old. In terms of his percentage of dribblers tackled, it's a bit shaky. It's a bit like José, where Firmino, while he brings tremendous creation, tremendous tremendous defending, Wirtz has a bit of all four aspects that Klopp wants in a forward: a good finisher, a good creator, can dribble, as he loves with Mane, versus the other three are not the greatest at that. Wirtz can do that. Now his defending, obviously this is something that Klopp improves on. One of the best things he's good at is coaching this up in his players. But in terms of the quantity of pressures, he's right up there with Jota. He's perfectly fine being in that gritty aspect of the match. What you want. If you have a guy who's committed to it and willing to do it, it's far easier to coach up the ability. And he also actually is quite good in his pressure percentage. Tongue twister there as well. So, you look at this: ball recoveries, tackles, interceptions. I mean, he is, again, a bit deeper than the other guys, the number 10. So he is in and about things, and he is really quite an exciting player. I'm definitely going to have to follow him a bit more, watch more of his matches, and obviously Bayer Leverkusen, watch their matches if you want to get a good glimpse of what Florian Wirtz could bring. So obviously it's from a Liverpool perspective. So how would you view Wirtz in a Liverpool jersey? How much would you pay for him? Should they make the move? Young German. Thanks to Shivam and Chris again, but this is going to do it for our video from the LFC Transfer Room here today. The glasses come off, and I bid you adieu. Been Jack with LFC Transfer Room. Have a good rest of your day.